Hi, my name is Schächtele. I'm the host of a very special session tonight. We welcome Omid on Lesbos. He's a pharmacist. He arrived in November on Lesbos with his son and his wife, and after the virus broke out, he established the Moria Corona Awareness Team with an own logo, own shirts. 30 volunteers are trying to handle a situation where people don't have water for hand washing, no clean toilets, where the virus can easily jump from person to person. In April, he started another initiative to collect plastic bottles to manage the huge amount of plastic waste on the island. But the main focus, of course, is the virus. Like everywhere else in the world, this virus functions like a catalyst. And then the fire came, and a situation which was already very serious became almost unbearable. So in the next 35 minutes, we will speak about the situation on Lesbos, the virus, and of course, like Nantjan said, about Europe and our contribution to that situation. And Nantjan is now sitting next to me, and she will have an eye on the questions. And please feel free to ask whatever you want, because this will be a talk by Omid, us, and you. So, Omid, welcome to Berlin, to our session. So my first question to you is, describe your day. What did you do today on Lesbos? What is your everyday work?
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk with you. Our daily work is in Lesbos is arriving awareness and delivering protection, with especially regarding the coronavirus for the refugees. In the past, we were active from the March up to the time that Moria was existing in Moria, and from the time that the new camp is established, we are doing activities inside the new camp.
So, give us some insight about the life on Lesbos right now. So, the fire is now over. The news coming to Europe from Lesbos or to Germany, because you are already in Europe. The news are people are moving to the camp now. I read about 5,000 people moved to the camp. What is the situation right now?
Yes, after the fire has happened in Moria, people have been displaced to the streets, and they remain in the streets for up to 6 days and nights. Then they just have only this option to go to the new camp. However, in the situation that no one was happy to go to the new camp, because the new camp is going to be something like closed camp, and no one was happy. But their situation got really bad, and they faced lots of violences, and they did lots of demonstrations, but they got no result, and nothing was successful by their demonstration. So by suffering in the street, they were really distraught too much, and the last option for them was to go to the new camp. And up to now that we are talking, around 10,000 refugees have been relocated, have been replaced to the new camp.
And where are you right now?
I'm in Mytilene, 20 minutes far from new camp.
So tell us more about your team. I said you are the coordinator of a team with 30 volunteers. So what are you doing to handle that situation in terms of the virus?
Yes, as we were active from the March up to now, we spread lots of awareness regarding the virus, and we just delivered lots of information, lots of protective information from the COVID-19 to the refugees, by hanging posters, by speaking directly with the people, tent by tent, by giving them flyers, including all information in all corona measures. In the situation that there was not enough, even at 0 point sanitation in Moria, we have to be active, because we are also from the refugees, and we can deal with the refugees. We were going tent by tent to speak with the refugees, to understand them, to tell them what is this virus, and they should be responsible for themselves in the worst condition that they were living. So from the March up to now, We did lots of awareness activities in the Moria, and right now we are also we are also busy with raising awareness regarding the COVID-19 inside the camp, especially by hanging posters in several languages to deliver the message of the corona measures to the refugees by their own language. For example, wearing mask is really important if you are inside the camp or if you are outside of the camp. Washing your hands is really important. We just put sign of these things in the posters with their own language and with enough information. Also, keeping social distancing is really important in the same situation because already 245 positive cases have been tested in the new camp and they are isolated inside new camp. So these are the activities that we are doing right now.
And how do people respond on that? Because in Germany, for example, it's not that easy to get all of the Germans on track. So how is it on Lesbos right now in these difficult conditions?
Exactly, you were right. It's really impossible to cover all the people and to understand all the people, and our actions are being accepted by all the refugees. But at least more than 50% of the refugees are really focusing on these issues and really trying to find out what is the correct measures to be taken. And they are really happy and they are really interested to these actions and they are following these things. And not at all. There are lots of people that they are not caring about these things. Maybe they don't care about themselves.
And in terms of infected people, I read about 270, but it's a very uncertain figure. What do you know about people infected by the virus?
Totally in the island, there is 270 positive cases. But the largest amount is in the middle of refugees, new camp. That's around 245 positive cases right now. The rest in the island from the Greek people.
And tell us about the relationship between you and the people, the Greek people on the island. Because what we are hearing now in Germany is that people on the island, Greek people, are quite cautious and in a way angry, also because of the virus, because they have the fear now to be infected by people from the camp.
Yes, exactly. The reaction of some of the Greek people are not good right now. They don't like refugees. Even they are keeping much distance from the refugees, especially from the time that they got information that there is more than 200 positive cases inside the refugees. They are really reacting bad. But this is right of them because this is a small island and a very big amount of refugees are living in this island, and this is too much for them. In this situation that all the whole world is facing with corona and fighting with coronavirus, everyone is responsible for themselves. I don't have any complaint from this, but the reaction of Greek people with the refugees are really, really changed, especially by having hundreds of positive cases inside the refugees.
So it got even worse after the virus broke out?
Yeah.
So where do you get your information from? Because you're a pharmacist, so you are an expert in medical issues, but not in virus issues. So what did you do to get on track, and what are you doing now to follow that?
Yeah, from the time that we have been started newly in the march in Moria, we have got support of a Greek organization. That this organization name is Stand By Me Lesbos. They really support us too much. There is a team that's working on collecting exact information to put it and to contain posters in this information. And after discussing too much and having the idea of everyone in cooperation with the medical NGOs like MSF that's active in Moria up to now, we are finaling this information and we are just printing it and we are delivering it to the people. The source of this information is a team of expert peoples together in cooperation with medical NGO that's MSF, Doctors Without Borders.
So we have 3 questions now from the audience, and Nantjen will start with the first one.
how do you make sure that you reach all the people in the camp? I mean, you're only 30 people in the team, right?
Yes.
So how do you... oh, sorry.
Yes. If the day that we are going to have an activity, especially the awareness activity, we are dividing our team in three parts, as we are 30 members, and we are making 10 members, and we are dividing these zones inside the camp, and all these team members are knowing that which place is going to be covered by which 10 members of the team. So maybe sometimes one day is not enough to reach all the people. It takes several days. Even one time in April, we did another awareness in Moria that took 1 week to cover all the camp that we were going tent by tent and speaking to the people with our expert team. So we are trying as much as possible to reach all the people and to deliver all the information to all the residents of the camp.
Another question from Elliot Schmidt. What is the most challenging aspect for your team and your work at the moment?
The most challenge right now we are facing that when, for example, we are delivering the measures of the corona for the people and that wash your hands, for example, people are 100 times are asking for us that if we don't have water, if we don't have running water, how we can wash our hands. Or for example, if we are advising them that please keep your distance between each other, they are asking us that when we are going to the overcrowded food line, how can we have social distancing there? Or for example, if we want to keep ourselves clean, we don't have good sanitation. But what we are doing is just trying to understand them, that try to manage yourself according to the situation that you are living. At least if it's impossible to wash your hands 10 times a day, try to wash it 2 or 3 times a day. It's better than not washing your hands in every measures like this.
And one last question from the audience. How do you protect yourself and your team if you spread the word about the virus face to face?
Yes, all our team are already trained by some skilled members that we have in our team from the first. When they are trying to be in touch with the people, they are completely taking themselves ready to the corona measures, like having masks, like having gloves, like keeping social distancing with they are talking with the people. So what we have is only wearing masks, keeping social distance, and having gloves to not be in touch with the people. So we are keeping these measures to be example for the other people. This is also another lesson for the people. When people are watching our reaction, they are just focusing and they are just trying to copy it and they are trying to follow it.
So what do you think is the perspective? So you spoke about the people infected, you spoke about the relationship to people on the island, Greek people. What do you think? Where will you be in 4 weeks? Is there anything you can think about? You can think what you have ahead of you?
Yes, my feeling right now is everything is just really damaged by burning Moria, because people have been displaced and everything is just disorganized. Every activities from any NGO is just cancelled. But right now we are really happy that at least there is a specified place like New Camp that everyone knows that as refugees are locating, and they are really in good measure right now. They are just all of them are tested from coronavirus, and the positive one is separated from the negative ones. So right now, a little bit hope is coming to our heart that at least this was not something that everyone is everyone be able to manage it, at least, especially the Greek government, but at all they manage it because they just established a new camp, they just established and start new measures, and they separated the positive cases from the negative cases, and it's going to be fixed everything. So let's be hopeful, as they promised that they will fix everything in next future, but nothing is completely fixed up to now. But we don't have any complaint from anyone because this camp is established in a very short time for thousands of people. We are really happy that they just at least relocate people from the street to a new camp. New camp is also good camp. It's organized camp. It's better than Moria. It's secure than Moria. It's everything is okay. What people are facing right now is not having accessibility to the water, to the shower, and also to the food in a good way. But the other things are really managed by the help of Greek government, and also by working really hard by NGOs that they are really active here. They're working really hard. So hopefully everything is going to be fixed in next days. And also by evacuation of some people that they are going to be evacuated in next week. It's going to be a little bit calm place because still there are people that they don't have tent inside the camp because of the lack of tent. We hopefully will have an open place after the evacuation of the people. So at all, everything is going in positive way right now.
So what we heard in the news was that the fire started when people refused to go in quarantine and started the fire by themselves. So what do you know about that? And are people having conversations about that? Are they angry? Do they understand what happened? So in a sensitive way, saying, okay, in these conditions you can't go in quarantine. So what do you know about that, and how do people think about that?
Yes, there was some miscommunication between peoples and between NGOs that they were working to isolate suspected peoples because they just suddenly start without cooperating with the peoples to understand them how important it is to be in quarantine if you are suspected for the virus. So, in a camp with 14 or 13,000 of people, most of them are unknowledge people, unstudied people. Most of them are not caring about the virus, these things. Nothing is important for them. There should be a cooperation between NGOs and people before starting to isolate them. So this was cooperation between people, I mean refugees and these NGOs. Suddenly they start and they walk and they came inside the refugees without testing people, only to unlogically going to the tents and evacuating people by force, reacting bad with the people. So it made people angry, and for sure there is some fascist groups that they are using these opportunities to burn the camp or any obvious. They just used it, and finally it went really bad and it went uncontrollable. So finally everything is destroyed. I think the fire source is only not having cooperation between what they are doing and between people and the NGOs what they are going to do, and it should be cooperated with the people before.
So I said it in the intro, this virus functions like a catalyst all over the world. You can see many consequences they start long before the virus. So from your personal view, what kind of story tells us that virus about Lesbos?
Yes, I know that this virus is really dangerous, and everyone actually knows that this virus is killer. Still, there's not any treatment. Still, there's not any approved vaccine for this virus. But there is difference between peoples also in the world. Maybe in some countries in the world, maybe there are still thousands of cases, but they are not caring. Moria was also the same. And totally different with the European country. This was totally different society in Moria. It should be something really, really organize and to react according to the culture of the people, but they didn't did it. They just isolate peoples for 1 day and or even for 4 or 5 hours. Then they just finish the isolation by some people. So it was something not logically, not in good way. For example, if these organizations were about to isolate people and isolate the exact suspected cases, the isolation is not going to be for 1 or 2 days, or maybe for 4 or 5 hours. But they were doing in this way. It means that they are doing wrong. So when people understand they are just arresting people by force, even people without having any symptoms, any suspected symptoms of the virus, they have been arresting people and putting them in isolation even for 1 or 2 days. Then they were freeing them. I know that in some cases, corona is not showing any symptoms, but when they were isolating people for 1 or 2 days, then they were freeing people. It's not something to do isolating people. Maybe there is mismanagement in their organizations or anything, but at all, what people understood from them that they were doing bad reaction with the people. They are going in wrong way, even in isolating, even in taking people's, even evacuating peoples from the camp to the clinic. So everything that they were doing was really, really wrong. This is what I hear from the people. The time that Moria was start to be burned, I was not in Moria. I was out, but I was in contact with my team members. So everything was just started by a demonstration of the refugees against these NGOs.
So we have new questions.
Sprevik asks, what would you wish the EU to do help your situation? So.
Yeah, thank you so much for this very important question. What any refugee in Lesbos is expected from Europe is to just help these refugees to be moved from the island to the other countries, like to evacuate them from the camp, to be in a good living condition, at least to be safe of the virus, at least to be not very close to the infected people. So what all refugees are expected from Europe is, as soon as possible, evacuation of this camp from this island. As you maybe saw in the demonstration that they did during the displacement, they were just asking freedom from all Europe countries. As maybe you saw lots of pictures or lots of videos from their demonstration and their protest, that they were just asking for freedom. What does it mean? Freedom, it means please open the way to us to reach ourselves to a saver and to a human being placed in the Europe. Being in the camp like Moria is not like human being life.
And there's another question. Is there still hope in Moria, or are the people giving up and maybe even don't care about Corona because their situation is very bad already anyway?
Yes, the only hope is this, that what Greek is that in a very short time that they just separated positive cases from the rest of the refugees. So the only hope should it be to be safe of the virus right now, in a situation that this 245 positive cases are inside this camp and they are isolated. We all hope that the exact measures have been taken on them. All of them be succeed to finish their quarantine time, and they be tested again. So the only hope is this, that they are separated from the rest of the refugees. Also, there is another hope that the overcrowding is going to be increased in a few weeks. So it can be also a hope.
And we have a question from Johanna Roth. Do you think the situation will get worse again? What can we do to help and prevent that from happening?
Yes, as Europe have been experiencing this storm of refugees in 2014 and 17, so anytime it can be happen. But at the time, if the Europe just take care of the borders to prevent the other storm of refugees to be in here, and also if the Greek government just pay attention to keep these people a little bit secure and to prevent again any fire to be happen, and again and to prevent displacement of the people, it will be much helpful at the same time. And also, if the evacuation is start as soon as possible, it will help too much to save the island and also thousands of these refugees.
So, Omid, we spoke yesterday, now we are speaking tonight, and I see you as a very concentrated and also passionate man about supporting the refugees. How do you, on a personal level, cope with that unbearable situation? How do you cope with desperation and the feeling of being lost on that island?
Yes, from the time that I was in this island, I was trying to at least be active, what I know and to use from my knowledge, to not be in the tent and to sleep only and to eat. So my own feeling is to help refugees as much as possible that I can. So hopefully, I'm really proud to myself that I was active and we did lots of things and we helped too much Greek government, and they're also really happy from us that we did really good actions inside Moria camp, and also we are going to do our projects inside the new camp. So up to the time that I will be in Lesbos, I don't know how much time it will take. I will continue to these efforts, to these works, because we can understand the refugees. We are in direct contact with refugees. We are speaking in the same language with several of the refugees, like Afghans, that they are the most population inside the camp, around 70%. So I will continue to my works with my team, and also all the MCAT members are really ready and happy to do these activities even in very bad conditions.
So we had yesterday a new proposal by the EU Commission for migration, but still we see no answer how Europe will distribute refugees all over Europe. You are now in contact with people in Greece, on the island. How do people on the island think about what is going on in Europe right now?
Yes, the people of the island is just really happy by the evacuation as soon as possible. I mean the public people. But what I hear from the authorities, they have planned for the evacuation for the next weeks, and also the asylum office is also have planned to speed up the asylum application process. So something has changed, I think, and I think in next future we will see lots of positive things that will happen.
So when you left Afghanistan with your wife and your son, you had dreams, expectations. Now you are on Lesbos. When you think about your own life, what do you think what you will learn from that situation right now? So what will be the consequences for your personal life when you will leave the island somewhere?
Yes, when I left Afghanistan, there was no plan in my mind to go to Lesbos, but we just forced from any country to the other country, from, for example, from Afghanistan to Iran, from Iran to Turkey, then from Turkey to here. Then finally we arrived here. But before arriving in Lesbos, I personally got another kind of picture in my mind from Europe, and I was really happy that when I arrived to Europe, everything will change because it's Europe. But when I arrived to Lesbos, and when they took me and my family to the Moria camp, nothing was the same with the picture that I had in my hand, in my head, in my mind before, and everything was really, really terrible. Especially the pictures that I have in my mind, and also the memories that I have in my mind from the Moria. So hopefully one day we will be rescued from this situation. But what was going on in Moria was really terrible, not like a human being life.
So people are now just feeling helpless listening to you, because every single one of us think by him and herself, what can I do now to solve that situation? When you have one recommendation about one concrete step people can do immediately after our session, what is your recommendation?
Yes, the only thing is just to put pressure by medias to the journalists to deliver the voice of refugees, to change a little bit the laws, because they're also humans, they're also families, they're also mothers, they're also children that they have hope for their futures, but they're living in very bad condition. I think by the same time, everything is in politics, and they can decide about things. I hope that they reach a very good final decision regarding the refugee situation in the camp. But every can do efforts from their side to just rise the refugees' voice to the world, to deliver the situation, what's going on in here, as much as possible. If it gets spread, I think it will be much affected on the politics to change their minds and to take a good final decision about them.
So we have one last question by the audience.
May goes in the same direction. So how can the European community help to support your work to raise awareness? Is there... Yeah.
Thank you so much. What we need is right now, we need financial support to continue our works because of the stuff that we need. We only don't have the awareness project. We have other projects like recycling empty bottles project that is going to be again a start on next Monday in the new camp. Today we just fixed everything with the camp management, and also we have upcycling classes for the children that's going to be placed again in the new camp. So we need the support of the Europe countries to support us, only to be active, to just give us the chance more and more by Greek authorities as they gave before, to be active, because it's really working good. We are also refugees, and also we are also working for the refugees. We are a self-organized team. It means we don't belong to any NGO or to any association. This is a self-organized community and in direct contact with the refugees, and everything is going very good, and everything is working very, very in good way. So we need more support of the Europe countries, especially in financial point.
So Omid, what are you telling your own son about the situation to let him understand what is going on right now?
Do you know, my son is almost 4 years old, and he is really a smart guy, and he's just asking me about how Moria was burned, because already we have spent 7 months of our life in Moria, and he has remembered Moria. So every time he's asking me, how Moria is burned, and I'm just explaining here, like in a way that to be good with the child, not like we are discussing these things. So I'm trying to understand him, but again, he's asking very hard question, like when we will go to our big house that we got in Afghanistan. So it's something that I cannot answer to him really completely, but it puts lots of pressure on me that because this son, my son, this child is really honest in this age, and I'm trying to answer him in a good way. But that all, I'm trying to hide lots of horrible things to not be to not go in his mind, at least to prevent him to not know about what happened with refugees, at least to do not know what the publics in this island is acting with the refugees, how refugees are suffering from their life. So I'm trying to hide lots of things from my son to not be remembered or to not be in his memory, because it's really shocking for any children this age.
So, Omid, unfortunately, we have to finish now. But in a situation where there's so much desperation around, for me, it's really a good sign to see that in you and your work, there is a spark of hope still on the island. So please give huge hugs to your team. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. And let's just stay in contact and maybe see us again on the screen. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much.